Hello, class. How was everybody's weekend? Good. All right. Now, who can remember what we talked about on last Friday?
Fractions.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Now, who can remember the difference between the numerator and the denominator? Anybody?
One's on top and the other's on bottom.
That's right. The numerator's on top, and the denominator's the one being divided by, so it's on the bottom of the fractions. Now, who can tell me where they can find fractions used in an everyday occurrence?
Rulers.
That's right. Now today's lesson is going to be on rulers. I'm going to teach you about the United States measuring system. Now in other countries, the metric system is the most popular way of measuring. But just in the United States, we have our own. So after today, I'm going to want everybody to be able to recognize all parts to the inch, which the inch is the most basic length of measurement of the system. And as well, we're going to make sure you learn the other three units of length for the measurements. I've got a magnified version of an inch here, and I want each of you to follow along on the rulers at your desk. That way you can follow along. The inch is broken down into 16 parts, meaning each line is worth a 16th of an inch. So it goes 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, and so on. Now, if you remember back to last week, we did a lesson on reducing the fractions. And this is where that becomes very important. Because, as you can see, 2/16 can be reduced to an 8. So now, every second line on the ruler is worth an 1/8 of an inch. So you go an 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and so on. Now, it's all reducing from here because, as you recognize, 2/8 is known as a 1/4 inch or a 1/4 of an inch. So you have a 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Okay? And then the next step in the reducing is the 1/2 inch, which is 4/8 or 1/2. So when everybody asks, when are we going to use these skills, in fractions and reducing, well, here you go. Because this is one of the most crucial skills that you'll be able to use, for the rest of your life. So, as we mentioned, the inch is the most basic unit. Now, from the inch, does anybody know why the rulers are 12 inches long? Well, it's because 12 inches equals a foot, and a foot is the next measurement in the U.S. system. Feet are commonly used when, inches are too small of a unit, such as a person's height. 6 foot 2 inches, that's too many inches, to get a good grasp on how tall that is. But if you say 6 feet, a better guesstimate of how high that is. Now, from the foot, we go to the yard, which is 3 foot. Okay. Now, yards are most commonly known in football fields, which is 100 yards long, and it's a lot harder to say something's 300 foot long versus 100 yards because yards are easier to understand, easier to grasp that guesstimate of how long it is. From the yard, there's one more system, unit of length in the system, which is a mile. And the mile is 5,280 feet. That's most commonly on the roads. You're going 70 miles an hour, which means you can travel 70 miles over 1 hour at a time. So with all these skills, the inches are always going to be used in construction. If somebody, you want to build your own house, or even as little as building a cabinet, you need to be precise on these measurements. Okay. So today we basically wrapped up the United States measuring system. So hopefully we'll all recognize that. Now I've got worksheets for all of you here. They've got 8 lines on them, and I want each of you to measure the lines, and then write down the measurements underneath. And when you're done, you bring it up to me, and I'll check them to make sure they're right. Now you got to remember that since this is such a crucial skill, don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask for help. I'll be around to help each of you who need it. All right, thanks.